Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here with my WWE Raw review for tonight. Monday, April the 27th, 2015. Of course, the aftermath of Extreme Rules. And of course, going traditional Raw after one pay-per-view. Now after pay-per-view, start booking the next one. As you see from my subtitle, we got the main event set for Payback. And of course, the wheels were set in motion from the beginning of Raw, and it was a decent little Raw tonight, highlighted by the matches in the King of the Ring quarterfinals. Sadly, the finals and mid-semis will be on the WWE Network tomorrow night for $9.99. Well, the reason why I think the King of the Ring semis are going to be on the network and the finals too. Free network. They want to squeeze as much left of the three days they have remaining. That April's free for new subscribers, so it's trying to milk that cow for all it's worth to get new subscribers in. So there you go. Before we get to the King of the Ring situation, we had the WWE Champion Seth Rollins coming out. Now, of course, if you haven't seen my Extreme Rules review yet, it's on this channel. But I forgot to say this. As I look back, I'm a big Rollins guy, but I don't think Rollins looked good in his first title defense. It was ruined by interference. It was spoiled by interference. You know what I mean? Because I knew there'd be interference in a steel cage match. Even if a steel cage's purpose is to keep people out, people still get involved. And unfortunately, interference was out of control. And I knew Kane would be the catalyst in all this. And I thought Kane was going to really snap tonight. We could see it on main event. But Kane was like, standing by Rollins like, I won by myself. You did. Yep. Helped by Kane, who he called the Crypt Keeper of the WWE. Then Kane said something that unfortunately may stick with Rollins for a while. Kane's like, well, if I'm the Crypt Keeper of WWE, at least I'm not the Justin Bieber of WWE. And then, chance, I think Rollins were here for a while. Justin Bieber. That's a joke that Cena would say. That Kane said. I think everyone's going to say this. I agree with this analogy. Kane's not saying that Rollins looks like Bieber. No, that's not the case. He acts like Bieber. He acts like a spoiled, self-centered brat. And Rollins is playing that role pretty well. Makes people want to hate him. And unfortunately, his Bieber attitude came when Orton came out and Reigns came out, both vowing they want a match against Rollins. Orton because, and they said that the RKO was banned from anybody. Nobody was allowed to use RKO at all. It was finally clarified. I said on my Extreme Rules, Rollins used the RKO, but I was like, wait a minute. They need to clarify something. Was Orton not allowed to use RKO only, or was nobody, period, was allowed to use it? Well, nobody, period, Orton or anybody else was not allowed to use RKO at all. That's what Kane said. That you wanted an illegal RKO, I let that slide. But at Payback, I'm not going to let anything slide. The fans will get to choose your opponent. And Reigns came out proving his point. He wants a match too. He beat Big Show in the last man standing match. Decent match. At least better than Cena's match. So then Kane's like the fans will choose the challenge for Rollins. Either it's going to be Orton and Rollins, Reigns and Rollins, or both Orton and Reigns against Rollins. We shall see how that vote will go. Before we get to that, of course, like I said, the King of the Ring quarterfinals highlighted most of Raw tonight. Kick off with our first quarterfinal match. Bailey's Barrett coming off a loss against Neville at the pay-per-view last night in the pre-show after D-Back and injured. And then, of course, Dolph Ziggler, who won his match, ended up kissing Sheamus' ass anyway in the Kiss Me All match. And this match was a pretty fun match to open up the series. King of the Ring matches were probably the best match of the night. Well, besides Stardust and Truth, which was like two other guys should have got that slot instead of Stardust and Truth. I'm sorry. They're like the odd people out, the odd men out. They kind of didn't fit in with everybody else who was on the bracket. So they had a good match between two former Intercontinental champions. A great fun matchup, great fun brawl. Uh, Bear tried to go for his big moves, cause Wasteland, Winds of Change. They can withdraw for his big moves too. Good little match. Like I said, great action for both these guys. Great athletes right here. But as Ziggler countered with some big moves of his own, countering Bear's moves with, of course, DDT and everything, Ziggler was ducking everything. He even ducked the first attempt at a bullhammer. But as he gave Mr. Bear the super kick, here comes Sheamus, playing the heel big time, distracting Ziggler for just a brief second. Just for that brief second, and continuing their feud. Barrett whammed Ziggler with the bullhammer, capitalizing on the distraction from Sheamus in the 1, 2, 3 victory for Bad News Barrett, getting the first semifinal slot in the King of the Ring tournament. He would take on the winner of the Stardust All-Truth match in the semis. Before we get to our next quarterfinal match, we had, of course, a match involving one half of the new tag team champions, New Day, taking on, of course, one half of the former tag champs, Cesaro and Kid. Tyson Kidd against Big E. Now, I forgot to mention this on my Extreme Rules review. The only cool thing about New Day being champions is they're using the Freebird rule. Freebird rule, there was 3 fabulous Freebirds when they were the NWA Tag Team Champions. Of course, Jimmy Jam Garvin, Michael P.S. Hayes, but of course, an overlooked member of the group, because everyone remembers Garvin and P.S. Hayes. Mostly everyone overlooks Terry Bam Bam Gordy, the third member of the Freebirds. So, they use that rule that any 3 of them, any 2 out of 3 could defend the titles. A Demolition used that rule too when they had 3 members when Crush came in 1990. And Spirit Squad used that rule when Nikki, of course, Dolph Ziggler was in that group. So they used that rule too, that any 2 out of 5 could defend the titles. So that's what the New Day is going to use. And I've been saying for so long that New Day should be heel. I'm loving their heel turn. Even though they should have not won the tag team titles, it served the purpose to give them heat. And boy, did they get a lot of heat last night for beating Cesaro and Kid. Got more heat tonight. As like I said, Big E takes on Tyson, and they get a rematch Thursday. So, it was a short match. It was an okay match. Big E coming with some big moves. Tyson was some big nasty moves. And my favorite spot was when he got Big E in the corner. And he was kicking him to the beat of New Day's claps. He was stomping him like, and of course, New Day sucks. New Day sucks. I like that. He was stomping a mud hole in Big E's ass in the, I like that. That was funny. But then, like last night, New Day got the victory by stealing it. As Tyson was going for a big move, Xavier Woods, who, is it just me or was he clean shaven today? I think he shaved. He held on to Tyson's leg, following a big splash from Big E and a 1-2-3 victory for New Day with help from Xavier Woods again, holding Tyson's foot. So, this feud's just heating up. And like I said, I'm loving New Day's heel turn. I would love to have seen him go full-on evil heel, but the way they're doing the heel thing is great nonetheless. And Tyson and Kid, not exactly baby faces yet, but I think the full-on babyface turn could be coming, especially the feuding with New Day. So then on to our next matchup. We have, of course, Ryback taking on Bo Dallas, stemming from last night's Extreme Rules when Bo Dallas was doing a speech, dissing Chicago, and here comes Ryback delivering a meat hook and a shell shock. So then we had a proper match tonight. It wasn't a match at Extreme Rules. So Bo Dallas made fun of Green Bay. Of course, we're in Green Bay tonight. Kind of weird. We were in Chicago, now we're in Green Bay. Rival towns, Bears and the Packers. He made fun of cheeseheads. I thought the commentator made a reference to Clay Matthews. Forgot what they did, though. Because my mom's a Packer fan. She likes Clay Matthews. I like the Bears when they're not sucking. Anyway, I'm a fair weather fan for the Bears, like the fair weather fans for the Lions when they suck or not. They don't like Lions when they rock. I'm one of those fans too, almost, kind of. Anyway, this ain't football. This is wrestling. Although football is as physical as wrestling, but anyway, let's get on with it. okay little matchup for what it was. You know, Ryback delivering his big moves, like both Dallas Pike for his like big kick, and of course the Bulldog, but he got demolished as he got kicked in the head a few times, and of course got nailed with the meat hook, and of course the shell shock like last night. This time in a puppet match, and 1, 2, 3 victory for Ryback. So Ryback was standing in the ring, and here comes Husky Harris. Bray Wyatt coming out. He's been delivering these promos for the last couple weeks about his next target after losing to Taker at Mania. So who's his next target? Skip Sheffield. Ryback. Nexus members. Interesting, the former Nexus members. That's why I said the former names. Husky Harris and Skip Sheffield. Two former members of Nexus. So it's kind of interesting to see these two feud now as the new characters. So after Ryback lost, won. Lights went out. Here comes Bray Wyatt. Out of nowhere, delivering the Sister Abigail. And apparently Ryback's starting a feud with Bray Wyatt. Or, Bray Wyatt's starting a feud with Ryback. He's been saying these scripted matches for the last couple weeks, like I said, after Mania. And now we know who to aim towards. I kind of like that approach. He's not saying who he's directing his promos to. He's just making these weird cryptic promos, trying to make you guess who he's going to target next. So I kind of like that approach now. Kind of like what he did in Taker. He just made these scripted promos, and you didn't know who he was talking about until it was like, oh, he's talking about Taker. Same with this, Like, we didn't know who he was talking about for the last couple weeks, and I was like, oh, he was talking to Ryback this whole time. So we'll see how this feud develops. So there you go. Maybe, and I like both these guys. Both these guys need some big wins lately. Because I think Ryback should have gone for a U.S. title at one point when Rusev was champion. And speaking of the current United States champion, John Cena came out, was victorious last night against Rusev in their Russian chain match, made in China match. And I think it should have been either last man standing match or I quit last night instead of dragging this feud till Payback with the new match made, the I Quit match for Extreme Rules rematch at Payback. So Cena was going to do his open challenge yet again tonight against Heath Slater. Now, Heath Slater wanted to challenge Cena last week. He wanted to accept the open challenge last week. But he got thwarted when he got RKO'd in the backstage catering area by Randy Orton, who was on his RKO rampage last week. But once again, like last week, he got thwarted out of an opportunity to take Cena on, this time by Rusev with a big nasty kick. The delivering message to Cena, not just physically attacking Heath Slater, but on the microphone. And I think the seeds are planting even further for the Lana Rusev breakup. It's been slowly but surely we're seeing the seeds slowly but surely planted for the Rusev-Lana breakup. We've seen it start out when Lana inadvertently cost Rusev the U.S. Championship at WrestleMania, and then last night she was waving to the fans, and the fans were responding. I even said in my Extreme Rules review last night that I'm comparing the Lana Rusev situation. I might have said this before, but I'm now using this analogy again. This Lana Rusev thing reminds me of the Mark Merrill Sable situation. Sable got more cheers than Mark Merrill, and Mark Merrill got jealous. I think Rusev's feeling the same. He's playing the Mark Merrill role to Lana Sable. Because Lana came out again. She was waving. Everyone was like, yeah! And then was like, go to the back, bitch! Go to the back, wench! And then when Luke was trying to speak, we heard that we want Lana chance. Like I said, I bet you Lana will be a factor. I said that last night. Once again, I'm sorry I'm plugging my Extreme Rules review. At least it's better than plugging the WWE Network every 25 seconds. You know what I mean? But anyway, I even said on that I think not only will I think Lana will be involved, I wouldn't be surprised if Rusev doesn't say I quit, that Lana throws a towel in. So that could be a factor. But I think Lana will be a factor in that match between Cena and Rusev, and will turn on Rusev. Or the opposite, Rusev turns on Lana. That's what I'm guessing. There you go. Cena got delivered a message from Rusev. So there you go. Now let's see what goes down in the next quarterfinal match. The match, I thought, it was like the eyeball. You look at the guys in the King of the Ring. You got Barry's Barrett, Ziggler, Neville, Harper, Ambrose, Sheamus. Stardust and R-Truth stick out like a sore thumb. They stood out like a sore thumb. Two guys who were in my mind, didn't deserve to be on the bracket at all. It should have been like 2 other guys, who deserve that prestige of being in that tournament more than those 2. But for what it was worth, it was okay. It was like probably the least favorite match of mine. It was just okay. They knew they were sticking out in the tournament like sore thumbs. But it was an okay little matchup. Even the ending started like a sore thumb, too. It was like a weird ending to the matchup, though. Both guys still put on an okay little matchup with R-Truth trying to kill spiders. He's goofy, though. He's goofy funny. I still liked it when he was a heel back in 2011, when he was like a crazy heel. When he challenged Cena for the WWE Championship. The only time he ever challenged for a World Championship. So I liked when he was a crazy heel. I like them both as babyface and heel. Sometimes people are either a good babyface or a good heel. Like in Sheamus' case, he's a better heel. Even if he looks like stupid now. As I even heard the "You Look Stupid" chants again tonight for Sheamus in this match. So then we saw, like I said, this match. It was okay. Like, Stardust coming with his big flying moves. I still think Stardust is okay, but I still think he should be Cody Rhodes again. At least Sandal's going back to being Sandow again. Well, he's just using his name again, but he's not using the intellectual savior of the masses. But after some okay little moves, Stardust and Truth kind of collided to each other. It was like a little collision, and R-Truth got the line attack to win. So weird collision. But R-Truth got the better end of it, taking Stardust down in a 1-2-3 victory for R-Truth. So our first semifinal match is set. Bad News Barrett against R-Truth. So there you go. Now on to the next matchup. Fandango! Skylar Moose, Green Bay doing the Fandango. Once again, I'm happy that Fandango returned to his old theme. He realized one got him over. So he took on Adam Rose again. I saw his 2 face off at a SmackDown taping and nobody cared. Now people care because Fandango brought back his old theme. So Fandango was looking good. He even flew up the top rope to Adam Rose and taking out some of the Exotic Express. But then one member of the Express revealed herself to be Rosa Mendez, the former flame of Fandango. Of course, the woman and the gimmick he dumped at the same time. He dumped her and the flamingo gimmick. He went back to being a ballroom guy, with the theme and all. So then as Rosa was tempting Fandango, saying, "You didn't want this. You did it on this. God, who else is going to get it? Because you're going to get a party foul, and I'm going to cost you the match." That's exactly what happened. But that distraction, Adam Rose capitalized with the party foul and the 1-3 victory for Adam Rose. And after the match, Adam Rose kissed Rosa Mendez. So apparently we have a little thing going on between those 2. So I'll see how that all plays out. And probably everyone will probably say the same thing. Who cares? So then on to our next scenario. Naomi playing the, I call it a more ghetto version of Sasha Banks with the neon glasses and her color-changing shoes. I kind of like them. And I like her new attitude. I've been saying Naomi should get a chance. Should be getting a shot at the Divas Championship. She finally got it. It took a new attitude to get it. But I like that new attitude. She took on Brie Bella tonight. Stemming revenge after Brie Bella could have inadvertently, or not, cost Naomi the match against Nikki Bella last night. She punched Naomi in the face to set up for the back attack. Now, before we get to the Naomi Brie match, let's talk about Brie's husband for a second. They didn't fully address the Daniel Bryan situation. Of course, D-Bry currently with some nagging little injuries, not able to defend the IC Championship last night. There's no word on the status of the IC Championship yet. Maybe they're letting it sit a little bit. But like I said before, last night, and I'm on Attack Sports today, don't drag this out like when D-Bry got stripped of the WWE Championship after he put WWE in the same position they're put in now, with him being hurt and all when he was champion. Hope they don't drag it out for a few weeks. Just strip it all easy. But I think they're letting it sit for a while. Don't let it sit too long, people. Don't drag it out too long, like last time. So maybe we'll find out next week. Like, they could do something at Payback. Or they should have the King of the Ring winner win the IC Championship. But that's not the case. I wish that would do. I wish that was the prize. Yeah, the King of the Ring / IC title tournament. But hey, it's a good. These matches between Nikki's sister Brie against Naomi. Naomi looking good, trying to go for big athletic moves, including the Wheel of But it was a decent little match between these two. You know, at least WWE's main roster divas are still trying to do good. They're trying to have good matches and give them more time. Still not as good as NXT, but they're making baby steps. Baby steps. Like I said, the tiniest of baby steps, but at least they're trying. Aiming towards the right direction. You know, trying is the key word. But I think fans may quote Yoda, there is no try. But there is a try here. Anyway, Spike Brie trying to come in for some big moves. Of course, Naomi got another big kick in the face in return, and a roll up and a 1-2-3 victory for Naomi, pinning a Bella another time. She's probably saying to herself, how many more times do I have to beat the Bellas to once again get myself qualified for a Divas title match? I'm not sitting around anymore. I'm not going to wait for my moment. I'm going to make it happen. If she make it happen more, I bet you she will get a rematch at Payback. There'll be a lot of rematches at Payback, besides Cena. So there you go. Now on to the next quarterfinal match in the King of the Ring to set up the second semifinal. Sheamus taking on Dean Ambrose. Sheamus coming off losing to Dolph Ziggler last night, but ended up making Dolph kiss his ass anyway. Taking on Dean Ambrose, who got the win over Luke Harper last night in a decent Chicago street fight. So these two fought, and it was a brawl between these two guys. You know, it was a good match. You know, probably one of the best matches on the King of the Ring bracket, although the last match was pretty good too. Sheamus came in with all his big bullying moves. He had a cloverleaf on at one point. It's a big move, but of course, Ambrose, being the underdog lunatic that he is, came back with, of course, his big moves. The big clothesline. He was trying to set up dirty deeds, but Sheamus kept coming out of that, as Ambrose kept countering the bro kick as well. So then they both brawled outside the ring after Ambrose kind of took back advantage after getting pummeled for the first half of the matchup against Sheamus. Like, Sheamus was really bullying it up, destroying Ambrose for the first half, and then once Sheamus got ran into the post, Ambrose took more advantage with a big splash. And then they were brawling on the outside. And I was like, don't let this be a double count out. Don't let it be a count out, or at least a double count out. And as they were brawling on the outside, the referee was counting. Sheamus nailed the bull kick. And looked like he was going to get a count out victory. Until Dolph Ziggler actually didn't know he was going to get involved. After Sheamus got involved in his match, Dolph got involved in Sheamus' match. But, unlike what Sheamus did, who distracted Dolph to lose, he kind of inadvertently caused Dean Ambrose the match. Since the referee saw Dolph Ziggler get involved, Sheamus won by DQ. Thanks to Dolph Ziggler getting involved. So Ambrose was pissed. I liked it. It's like, it's not even my fault. It's not my fault. That's ski reference. Can't believe I'm mentioning him again. But anyway, after Ambrose inadvertently not got screwed, and Sheamus got himself this next semifinal slot. We'll see who faces him, Harper or Neville. But till then, we had Damien Sandow again. Of course, he lost last week against Miz, losing the Miz name once and for all. So he's back to being good old Damien Sandow. And I kind of like this speech. It was kind of cheesy, but it was effective. Saying that I went through a phase in the last 3 years after became this savior for the masses. And we're in a bathrobe. See how that got me. And then, of course, he wore all these silly costumes. Because he's like, WWE told me I was not entertaining enough. So my quest to be entertaining, I became all these silly characters, wore all these silly costumes, and became Mizdow. And although it gave me criticism for my prayers, it got me respect from the fans. It got him over. You know. And Mizdow did get him over. We'll see what happens now that he's no longer Mizdow. So then here comes Curtis Axel. I kind of like Axel saying that you don't get anywhere by copying somebody else. Look who's talking, Axel Mania. And then it turned to silliness. Damien Sandow was making fun of Axel, like mimicking him, kind of like the stunt double thing again. And then they brawled. And then Sandow went back to one of his own moves. Instead of using Mrs. moves, he's back to using his own moves, including the elbow of disdain. Elbow of disdain. You're welcome. He said that, and of course, then indulge your attention for a moment, or something like that. We'll see how Sandow goes from here. We'll see where he goes from here. And I hope they try to put Sandow more than in the head. At least they say, hey, he did try to entertain us. Now it's time to give him something in return. We'll see if that happens. On to our next character. Not our next character. Our next match. Probably, like I said, the best King of the Ring match of the night. Adrian Neville, now just called Neville, taking on Luke Harper. This was, like I said, the best match in the King of the Ring quarterfinals. This is a really good matchup. Contrast of styles. You had the big high-flying moves of Neville. And I do mean high-flying moves. You have some good high-flying spots in this match. But Harper came in with his big power moves. It was a good counter. There was some cool moves. Like when Neville was going for a hook on one, but he got caught in the big sit-down powerbomb. That was kind of cool. And of course, a big high-flying 450 backflip move up the top. That was kind of cool. And Neville just got pummeled though. Despite the early offense from Neville got grounded for the later half with just some big power moves from Harper, really beating him up. But then, like I said, Neville made the big comeback with some big kicks, big insecurities. Following with a big sunset flip powerbomb off the top rope, like Harper was going for a big move off the top. Neville got up there and did like a sunset flip powerbomb off the top rope, setting up Harper up for the Red Arrow and the 1-2 victory for Neville. I'm predicting either Neville or Brandon Barrett will be King of the Ring in my mind. Makes sense because they're Brits. But looking back at King of the Ring's history, heels have become King of the Ring. But it's not about characters. Not about if a heel's king or a babyface is king. It depends on how it elevates a career. Look at the past King of the Ring winners. I'm talking about the pay-per-views and the televised King of the Rings on Raws and SmackDowns. Not talking about the King of the Ring tournaments at house shows they've done throughout the years. Talking about like the pay-per-views and televised. Look at the names that benefited from being King of the Ring. Triple H, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Owen Hart, Bret Hart, Brock Lesnar, Edge, Kurt Angle, Sheamus. It's kind of intriguing he was in this tournament because he was a former King of the Ring. So that's my prediction. My prediction will be not only do I predict a Bad News Barrett Neville final, I predict one of those two will win. Now I think it's Neville because he needs a big push. He needs to elevate himself right now. He's been delivering some great matches lately, but he needs that one big win to really elevate him. And being King of the Ring would really elevate him. But I don't want people to think they're forcing Neville, like they're pushing him forcefully. I don't think that though. But it was a fun match. I think Neville is going to be the King of the Ring. That's my humble opinion. He's got momentum and he needs to really elevate himself. Like being King of the Ring will really elevate himself. It'd be kind of cool. It kind of be a kickstart. Sorry to quote one of WWE sponsors for the pre-show Mountain Dew kickstart. A lot of cheap plugging tonight. Like cheap pups, Mick Foley. Stop cheap plug, stop it. Let's get to the main event. Randy Orton and Roman Reigns, the two guys that the fans want to choose, would take on Kane and Rollins. It looked like Kane and Rollins were going to settle the differences. It did look like that in the early going, as they both tagged each other in and out, like really trying to communicate again, trying to get back on their best behavior after having the little issue, especially last week, and of course at Extreme Rules. Even though Kane chokeslammed Rollins, he still helped them get their victory. So it was an okay little main event, decent little main event, with Kane and Rollins dominating the early half, Joey Mookie and Noble interfering a lot, not as much as last night, but still. They got a little bit involved. As Rollins got the big early going. I still miss him doing the club stomp. He needs a new finishing move. Or bring back the club stomp, please. WWE officials. What the fuck did you do? But after Rollins going for his big moves, like he went for like some insecurity kicks and everything. Kane was going for a chokeslam at one point to Reigns. But then things really turned around. As Waynes was getting choked by Kane, getting set up, Waynes got out of it, and as Rollins was setting up for a dropkick to Waynes, Waynes ducked it. Kane got dropkicked instead. He got dropkicked instead. And then the domino effect. Joey Mercury got a Superman punch from Waynes. And then Orton got a Hangman's DDT on Rollins, a nasty Hangman's DDT. And the crowd was like really cheering it up. He was trying to set up for the RKO. But then all of a sudden, Rollins knocked everybody up to the ground. He was going to go for a splash move onto Waynes and Orton, should I say, who were on the floor. And I knew they were setting up this spot. That Rollins was going to go for a splash. Orton, Waynes would duck. And Kane, who was standing at the edge of the announce table, would get hit instead by Rollins. That's exactly what happened. The execution of that was not up to par. I think Rollins kind of botched the landing. But he still nailed Kane nonetheless. And it still ended up having Kane go ape shit, beating up JJ Security, and beating out of Rollins, and really taking it out on Rollins, punching him, then feeding him to the wolves with a back-to-back RKO and a spear, and the 1-2-3 victory for Orton and Waynes. With a little help from Kane. After a Superman punch from Waynes, and then the RKO. Both finishing back-to-back after Kane literally fed Rollins to the wolves. So then they destroyed Rollins and turned his back on him and imploded. I knew they were going to implode. I had a sneaky feeling Kane and Rollins, this feel-good shit was not going to last long. And boy, oh boy, did it not last. As Kane turned on Rollins after Rollins' inadvertent mistakes. So there you go. And after that, Kane said, well, Rollins, it's time to see who you're going to face. Extreme Rules. Extreme Rules. The next pay-per-view, Payback. So then, I kind of had an ugly. It was going to be a triple threat. I wish it was one-on-one, but triple threat nonetheless. It'll be Rollins, Waynes, and Orton for the WWE Championship at Extreme Rules. Follow-up, Payback. Pros and cons of a triple threat. The last time Rollins was in a triple threat for the WWE Championship, it was when he was a challenger. But he was the star of that triple threat. It was against Cena and Lesnar. He really added to that match. He added spark to that match. I'm glad they made it a triple threat. Because we didn't want to see Cena Lesnar 3. I'm glad they added Rollins to the match. And that's when I really paid attention to Rollins getting a championship shot because he deserved it. And I'm glad he won a Mania. Even if he's kind of playing that crybaby character a little bit too well. Making people want to hate him too much. But hey, got that from Triple H. He knows how to make people want to hate him. Like, love to hate him. So that's a pro of triple threat. Rollins wasn't a triple threat for the WWE Championship at Royal Rumble. He was the star of that triple threat. The con. Con means triple threat means no DQ. That means interference is legal. After interference ruined the match at Extreme Rules, hope to God they either have the interference at a minimum or none at all. Please have none at all. Don't let Rollins win by authority again. Yes, he's a heel. Yes, he needs to cheat. Like New Day's cheating. But come on, he gets old pretty fast. Having Rollins win every month by authority. Please let him win almost cleanly. After his first side effects and they kind of screwy at Extreme Rules. Having, like I said, be like the WrestleMania match against Orton and Rollins. Have the interference at a minimum. And don't let it spoil the match like last night. Or have none at all. So I hope there was minimal interference or none at all. Nothing to take away or spoil the main event at Payback. Should be an okay little triple threat match. Rollins will carry the match for sure. In my opinion. So there you go. We got the main event set. Rollins, Orton, and Reigns for the WWE Championship. We don't see any Rusev. I quit. I'm guessing we're going to get a Naomi, Nikki rematch at Extreme at the Payback pay-per-view. I keep saying Extreme Rules. That was the last pay-per-view, So there you go. I think we'll have some more matches named. I was thinking tag team title match at Payback, but they're going to have the rematch at SmackDown unless it ends screwy to cause a rematch, a proper one at Payback. And I think Ryback will take on Bray Wyatt at Payback. So we'll see how that goes. It's kind of interesting when it goes back to King of the Ring that they're not like dragging it out. Like one time they had like a couple qualifying matches on SmackDown. And the finals was on a pay-per-view a couple weeks later. They have the quarterfinals in one night, and then the next night have the finals on a pay-per-view because it's free month. So there you go. Trying to, like I said, milk the cow that is the free month of April for new subscribers as much as they can. Trying to squeeze the milk out of it for these next couple days. And that is it for the WWE Raw review tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Let mind y'all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you so much. See ya later much. Yeah. Or should I say yes?